everyone. Welcome back to Scrambled Eggs, a podcast you'll only hear if you're lucky. I'm Zoe.
I'm Kingsley. So today is Scotch Egg Series. It's gonna be an English podcast, and this week we are gonna talk about things we're proud of. So I think throughout our lives we have some highlights about things we definitely proud of. So Zoe, do you have any things you're proud of?
Yeah, I think there are definitely a few. I think the reason why we chose to this topic as our podcast is because I think sometimes when life gets too hectic and too much is going on, we tend to forget the things that we have done that we should be proud of or that we're happy about, because we don't really see those as achievements and we always aim higher or aim for more. So today I think the main thing we want to do with this episode is to celebrate things, things that we're proud of.
Mhm.
So I think what I'm proud of this year is I'm quite happy overall, and the biggest thing is I moved to a completely new town, got a completely new job, and I thought about this for a long time because we know that whenever we move to a new place or new city, there will be challenges, and it's also very different from university because when you're in uni, a lot of people are there for you. There's a support system at school, and the school is designed for you to make friends, and everybody's new there, so you can make friends. There's societies and clubs. But then because I'm coming into a place for a job and everyone has their own social circle already, and it feels like I'm just entering this totally foreign place that I'm the stranger and the people there are also strangers to me. Overall, the experience has been really amazing so far. It is so much better than what I've expected. Because the people here are really helpful and really nice, and they're really inclusive. So basically, anything that they're doing, they will try and invite me. They'll ask if I want to go. They include me in the conversations and discussions and work and everything. So I just feel like even if I'm a new person in that place or a newcomer, I don't feel like somebody that doesn't fit in. I felt like I fit in just perfectly because everyone's so welcoming. And the place where I work at, the people are so nice as well. It's I'm new into this industry, so there are a lot that I don't know. And initially I worry a lot about, am I asking a stupid question, or am I supposed to already know this at school and I'm asking this now? But they're willing to answer my questions without patronizing or in a condescending manner. So it actually encourages me to ask more questions and learn more as well. So that is kind of a very nice experience, and it's also something that I'm proud of because it's a reward for stepping out of my comfort zone. Because initially I was so scared, I actually cried the night before leaving. I don't know if Angela my roommate knew this, but when I was folding clothes and packing, tears streamed down my face, like a Taylor Swift song. But because I was just so worried, what if I am alone? Even if you're staying back in the same place like Kingsley, even if you live all alone, you still have to manage all your stuff and things like that, right? And that's a challenge. But if you move to a completely new place, that's even more challenging because you don't know anyone there. You're not familiar with their system, things, and everything. So I was kind of worried, what if I made the wrong choice and things like that. But it's as long as you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, I feel like you're always going to be rewarded. Maybe not initially, you might encounter some hardships, but you'll encounter new people as well. You'll have new friendship. You might meet new doggies, which is the highlight of my life right now. Live with a dog now, which is cool.
Yeah.
So which is quite nice. That's the biggest thing I'm kind of proud of.
I do think moving out and also leaving your comfort zone is really a very brave move, I would say, because Thinking about me moving to Manchester back in 2019, it was such a big move to me because I've never been to Manchester. I've been to the UK, but I've never been to Manchester. And I always feel lucky that Zoe came with me because I just suddenly came to a new place, and it's so good that I have a high school friend, and it's not like just a normal friend, but a really, really good friend. And also I have several friends coming to Manchester as well. I have also another friend who lived in Manchester. We were all in the same high school. So I think it's really lucky to have like friends.
I think I've also been incredibly lucky. Like, I don't take this for granted because I know a lot of people encountered like really bad landlords or landladies, or like the place they're working for is not good.
So other than you moving to a new town, have you ever done anything that you did on your own, which made you like, oh, I'm really proud that I did it on my own?
Well, I would kind of categorize going to Manchester as on my own, but I know like I came with few and like there are a few people as well. But then that
Yeah.
was like the first time I left home for such a long time and
Mhm.
such a far place. Um, but yeah, that was quite nice. But to actually do things alone in a totally foreign place was this year. Actually, last month I went to Venice for a 2 or 3 day trip, totally alone. So initially, I really wanted to go like traveling, because I didn't get to travel a lot during my university years because of COVID. And I was talking to Kingsley, like I was thinking, should I go? Should I not go? And then Kingsley brought up this idea, like I can do solo traveling, and I was like, oh, that could work. Like I've never had this experience before, and I was really excited by this idea. Like a little bit daunting because you're doing it alone, especially I'm a girl. Because let's face it, like
Yeah, exactly.
in the real
Yeah.
world, like girls are still usually like considered as prey when like crime is going to happen usually. And like I'm quite small as well, like in size, so that might actually be more of a disadvantage. So I'm kind of aware of that as well. And like this time I'm doing alone in a totally foreign place, and I don't speak any Italian or things like that. So it was like quite hard for me to overcome my internal fears. But at the same time, I really want to have that experience, like doing things on your own, not having to like wait for somebody to be free for you to do it. Because I feel like there's something very empowering as well about doing it alone, as in like you don't have to, wait for somebody to make a decision to do something you want to do. Like if you want to do it, you just go and do it yourself. And yeah, I took 2 days off. I looked online for some cheap plane tickets, and there were some cheap tickets from Bristol to Venice. It was only £33 for a return ticket, so it was like a really good deal. And I looked online for some nice Airbnbs and youth hostels, which was quite a good deal as well. So it was like a really low cost traveling plan. I just really wanted to explore Venice. And then it didn't really go that well, to be honest. Like, I'm glad it's over, but I'm also glad it happened. Talking about like, oh, my relationships and things, but no, this soul experience, it's just, there was like a rail strike. So I couldn't get to where I am, to Bristol airport. Luckily, my landlord gave me a ride, which was really nice of him. Or else I would have to cancel the whole trip.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have any euro with me, which was kind of dumb of me. This is like, I think, the mistake that I made, because I thought that I could use contactless, which I could, but I should always have some cash in retrospect. Yeah, and then I just basically walked around in Venice. It was really amazing. Like the moment I step out of the train station and saw the view, it just blew me away. It was amazing. But at the same time, it was also very stressful for me because like traveling alone, I have to be constantly aware that I'm alone. So all the problems that I encounter, I will encounter alone. So I was really conscious about, oh, where's my passport? Oh, is my wallet still there? Is my phone still there? Are my like personal stuff still there? Like really, really anxious about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to nighttime, I also become very anxious. Like, the streets I walk in, is it too quiet? Is it too empty? Should I go into big streets? Should I walk like streets with more light or more people? So I kept on texting Kingsley even when I was there to,
Yes, she
just make
did.
sure like somebody knows. And I also got like not like a protector, but like if somebody attacks you or something, it makes a huge noise to alert people. It was a nice experience to go traveling alone, but at the same time, do I really want to do it again? Not really, because at least not in the near future, because I feel like the anxiety and panic kind of overthrew the excitement and the relaxing mood I should be in when I'm traveling. So I didn't really enjoy it as much as I could
Mm-hmm.
have if I was traveling with friends or traveling with some other people, which could have minimized my anxiety level or something like that. But I'm still glad I did it, like, because I planned everything myself. I did everything myself. Like, it was a solo trip. Like, I didn't rely on anybody else, like, for planning. But then there was this, of course, this rail strike, which was unexpected. So I did get some help from my landlord, which drove me and gave me a ride, which was very nice of him. But apart from that, it's really cool that I get to do everything myself, plan everything, do everything
Yeah.
myself, explore myself, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite nice.
Yeah, I think the reason I haven't tried traveling alone is because it's the same problem, which is I would be so anxious about everything, like about my personal safety, about like am I gonna miss the
Yeah.
train? Especially I find that I always oversleep lately. Like sometimes I wouldn't hear the alarm. But speaking of like doing things alone, there's certainly something that I'm really proud of, which is going to concerts alone. I've been quite a few concerts back in Hong Kong and Macau when I was really young. When it came to my first experience of going to a show alone, let's say an award show. Yeah, I've been to one award show, which is in South Korea. I just went into the venue alone, and there are like a bunch of Korean people around me. And then I just sat alone and I enjoyed the whole show on my own. The second time I was like really in a concert, but not like an award show, is in my year one. I went to Carly Rae Jepsen's concerts. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, so my parents were really paranoid. So up to this day, they didn't even know I went to that show. I just lied to them,
Well,
saying,
if they listen to this
yeah.
podcast, they'll know.
If they listen to it, I have to confess, went to the show. It's like, I mean, it is really my first time going to like a concert alone. They don't really have a dedicated seat for you. It's freestanding. It's my first freestanding show ever, and I was so paranoid because I've never been in a crowd and just like jumping around, and I know it would be really crowded. I remember I left school earlier. I need to queue up for the show. When I like the night before the show, I even went online and searched like things I need to prepare if I ever go to a show alone. And it's like, yeah, you need to keep hydrated. You need to have like a fanny pack or whatever, and like put all your tickets or your wallet, your phone in it. And then I went to the venue. It was February, so apparently it was really cold, but you couldn't wear too much because in the venue it would be so hot because like everyone was jumping around, everyone was sweating, and I just wear like a very very thin jacket, and I was like standing in the wind for like 2 hours. Yeah, and I went inside, and I didn't know there's such a thing called support act. It's like another 2 hour inside the venue, and then the show just started. It was really fun because I didn't know that, like, because the price was really cheap. Ticket price is like 20 to 25 pounds. It is like, for a concert ticket, it's not that expensive. It's more like a gig show, to be honest. And if you queue up really early, you could end up on the second row or even on the first row. I really enjoyed it. And since then, I've been to quite a lot of concerts. Half of the shows I went alone, and half of the shows I went with friends. It's still fun to watch a concert with friends. I would say like I really enjoyed watching shows with my flatmate, with Zoe, with other friends. But I think for me, it's like when I watch a show on my own, I've got to focus more on the production and the performance, the music, and the vibe around. Because when you're with friends, you're more like chatting with them, singing with them. But when you're watching a show on your own, you dedicate all your energy to the artist. I think it feels different, but I really enjoy it.
I think concerts are really nice. And I feel like it's also really common, especially in your 20s, when maybe you want to explore a bit more and you leave home and go out and explore, or if you're going to university, or even if you're just traveling. Like, there will be moments that, even if you're traveling with friends or family, like, there will be moments when you're alone, whether it's physically or like mentally, you will be alone for a while. And I think being alone is quite a common thing, but not a lot of people actually talk about that. And we just want to draw some attention onto like being alone. It's not a bad thing. Like being like alone or being by yourself is a very natural thing, nothing to be ashamed of. And it's also important that you know how to establish relationships with yourself when you're alone.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I'm really proud of is that when I feel like I need help, I need to like reach out to someone, but I cannot find anyone. I'm really proud that I do write songs and I do put out music in 2021. Yeah, I officially finally like put out music. You know, I was talking to Zoe about like putting out music since I was in high school, and I still remember Zoe and I were thinking about like how to perform in my talent show. She was giving me really good advice. It was like a first step for me to sing about the feelings that I've had and like produce the music and perform in front of everyone before I leave my high school. It was like really a proud moment, I would say. But in general, it's like I'm really proud that I do write songs and release them, produce them, because I think it's not an easy thing to do when you did the whole thing on your own. People would say like, oh, when you want to be an artist, when you want to be a songwriter, a producer, you need a good record label, you need a team, you need professional equipment. But the technologies is getting more and more advanced. You can actually do it in your home. You can actually do it in your room. And I feel like for me is such a way to express myself and to let out some of the negative feelings and to just share it with the people. It was really hard for me to manage everything in the very beginning because I was releasing stuff independently. I'm an independent artist. I have to go through contracts. I have to talk to distributors. I have to like check every legal terms and to make sure that I own everything. Yeah, it was really like it was a process. I was stuck there for like a month and a half or something. And I've never professionally trained about like music production and marketing or anything. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna put out a song, I'm gonna produce it, record everything, and like to just like think about how I should put out music and how I should share it with the people. I need to think about the features. It's really a lot of work. I'm really thankful that I've got a friend who did all these stuffs with me. She did like the translations for my lyrics, and sometimes she would stay up and give me advice on like my music video, my costumes, my pose, my schedules, stuff like that. She would like give me any advice she's made. She's on the podcast before as well. Yeah, if you know, it's really a like I'm really thankful and grateful to have people listening to the music. And I mean, my friends, I guess they love it. I don't know. But like sometimes I would get really stressed when I release a song because I didn't know if people will like it or if they would hate it or anything. And I did receive some negative feedback from people around me, like people I know around me. They would say like, "Oh, it's really ridiculous. Like Kingsley is releasing music. What's wrong with him?" But like, I'm just doing whatever I want, and you can do it as well because it's not as serious as you thought. It's just a very easy way to tell people that what's on your mind and what you've been feeling. And I think I'm really glad that I have that experience and I have the ability to put out music and people do actually listen to it. I know I've stopped releasing music for a while, but I'm really trying to put out some music next year.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like music is a good outlet for your emotions as well. And regardless of what people say, I think if it's something you wanted to achieve or wanted to do, like especially like for you writing music at such a young age, I definitely feel like you should continue to pursue it. Like everyone's gonna have haters, but you're gonna have supporters as well. I think you should focus on the people that fuels you and like supports you more than like, you know, haters who tries to pull you down. Like it's just they have nothing better to do. That's why they do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's something you should be proud of and continue doing.
Sometimes I would joke about it, like when I talk to my friends, because I do receive dislikes on my YouTube channel, and I'm like, oh my god, whenever I receive a dislike, I'm famous. It's really a joke because you always listen to the nice words from your friends or from your like your really close friends because they may not want to hurt your feelings or anything. But I don't know. But for me, getting the dislike is more like, oh, someone did really check it out and they didn't like it. At least I've got some like feedback about the music that I put out, and I really appreciate it. The dislikes, I really like it. I don't know why, but I really like it. That's something I'm really proud of as well. Getting the dislikes. I'm being honest, really genuine. Yeah.
That's good. But I think apart from personal things that we're proud of, there are also like a few things that we both are proud of. Like it's the same thing. So I think the first one would be starting a podcast together. I think
this
that's
podcast,
like I don't think I've ever thought of doing a podcast ever. Yeah, I think you have before.
I have, yeah, but
yeah,
I didn't plan to do it this year. It was just like one day I was chatting with my friend and she said that, oh, you're really good at talking and just
as basically talkative.
Chatting. Yeah. And then I am. And she said that, oh, maybe you can do a podcast or something, because I do listen to podcasts, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a very good way to just like put yourself out there. And I didn't really think about starting a podcast. And one day Zoe was like, should we do a podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And I just started.
I think it's because like me and Kingsley usually chat about, like, we talk about the most random things.
Yes.
Like, and then like, for example, if we are eating or just watching TV, like I would ask him a really like deep philosophical question, and then we would go on discuss, like talk about that for hours on end. And I was thinking like maybe people would be interested in listening to us babble about like some, out of the blue philosophical like content or ideas or anything. So I was like, if we talk about this anyway, we might as well just record it. Some people might find it interesting. And then we basically, once we decided to start like a podcast, and then we quickly set up a lot of things. Like it wasn't like a really long ongoing process.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we want to do it. And then, okay, we recorded the first episodes, and initially we just uploaded it on YouTube, but like we set up Google Gmail accounts, YouTube accounts, and then set up like an Instagram account for some more promotion. And then as things became more steady, we started to go into Spotify podcasts, Apple podcasts. So it feels like it's kind of like a serious thing for us now. And do enjoy like doing that weekly. It feels like it's a more routine thing to keep us going. And it also keeps me and Kingsley in contact because like now
Yeah.
we're living in different places, we have our own jobs. Sometimes people usually drift apart like that, so it's kind of good that we're doing this weekly. We
Yeah.
chat about the most random things and yeah, some stupid stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we do chat on phone in the office, but chatting on the
When
podcast
I'm on
and
the
actually
toilet.
but actually like chatting on the podcast and publishing them is a completely different thing, and then really like
Yeah.
it's like a weekly task for me to achieve. It just keeps me like moving forward without feeling like, oh, I'm just gonna do my office work and in my weekend I'm gonna just waste all my time.
Yeah, and I also feel like because when we chat around like a topic or theme, like we know each other well, I would like to think that, but we don't know each other, like we don't know everything about each other. So sometimes when we talk about like a topic, it's like, oh, I didn't know this about you, or you didn't know this about me, and now we know more about each other, like the thoughts about like these topics or
Really?
what we think are values and things like that. So it was actually quite a nice thing as well, I think.
I would like to know like which episode you really think like, oh, I didn't know about that from
I don't
Kingsley.
remember like particularly. It's not like a big thing which I didn't know about, but it's like
Okay.
these small things like a little bit here and there. But I also think I feel like it's good sometimes we talk about like things we're going through as like not teenagers but like young adults that
Mm,
maybe a lot of people are going through as well, but couldn't find the right platform or couldn't find the right people to hear from because they feel and that makes them feel really alone because they feel like they're the weird one or they're
mm,
not normal, but like everyone is going through that phase, or like it's really normal thing to go through.
mm,
So sometimes we just like to chat about that as well to draw some attention to the more mundane things and less
mm.
talked about topics. And then I think the second thing that we're both proud of is because we just graduated this year, which
Yeah.
is like a nice achievement. But I think
Yeah.
the we would like to draw attention to actually landing a job. I think that's the
Yes.
harder part compared to graduation, especially after now, like the pandemic. The economy is not particularly great, and I know some places like the unemployment rate is really high. So
Mm,
to be able to still be able to land a job in these circumstances, like regardless of like, where the job is or how how much they pay or anything, like to be able to land a job, like I think that's a massive achievement in this year or like in these few years. Like give yourself a pat on the back if you landed a job. Like it's really hard.
mm. And I feel like sometimes like people will be like, oh, you when you get a good grade in uni, then you will get a great job. You need to like have join different activities. You need to get a first on. You need to win certain award to get a job. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not really about how much you achieved in your university, but sometimes it's more about the chances that you encounter. Because I would say even like how no matter how great you did in your university, if you don't have the chance of getting the interview, or if that architect just missed your portfolio or missed your email or something, you wouldn't get the chance
Yeah.
to have an interview or even get an offer from them. It's not just about like how great you did, but more how much you put yourself out there, and just do not be afraid of failing and just try. I think it's really a
Yeah.
tough process, and it's like an ongoing process as well, like during the whole applying period, because it's not like, oh, you apply to one practice and then they would hire you. It's more like you apply to multiple ones, or even like 20, 30 different practice, and you may not get a job as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the process of applying to jobs is usually like, unless you're like those really rare kind of people who like immediately land a job or like get referred like with
Yes.
really good grades and things like that. If not, then usually you have to, you know, go through this process of applying, getting rejected, and then this constant, you know, feeling of self-doubt. Am I not good enough? That's why I didn't get a job. And like if you see your friends getting jobs offers and you
Oh,
still
that's
had none,
stressful.
then you
Yes.
feel like, oh, like am I not fit for this industry? And then like you're just spiraling, and
Mm,
that's like a really gloomy place to be in. So I feel like to be able to like go past all this, you know, like to
mm,
overcome all this emotional,
exactly.
you know, turmoil and rejection, like, and still be able to continue going, continue applying and not giving up. And, you know, still try to perform your best in interviews, even if you just like received a rejection email the day
Mm.
before, you know, these
Oh,
are what make
yes.
you like a better person. Like you're actually, you know, exceeding the you yesterday, and that's what
Mm,
really matters.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think the firm looks for like a nice personality, a person with a nice attitude, more than what mark you got or, you know, what grade you got.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think as long as you have that passion, you know, that determination not to give up and things like that,
Hmm.
I think you will, you know, achieve something at the end of the day, even if you might find it difficult to land a job, or, you know, you might find it difficult to achieve what you want at that moment. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It just takes
Mm.
time, you know.
I still remember the job that I had now when I received the interview invitation. The day before it, I just got rejected from a practice that had like 2 rounds of interviews, and I was like, "Oh, you rejected me after like a few months of waiting." I was a little bit sad, but not that sad. And then the other day, I received the interview invitation. So it's really like how you mentally prepare for everything and just stay optimistic all the time. It's really about that. I mean, throughout the whole like job hunting process, I'm really proud of my mental state because I don't feel like I don't really feel like when I didn't get an offer or receive any rejection email, that was like a failure. No, I didn't really see that, but I do panic when I was waiting for the offer or like a response. But when I received the result, it's not like, oh, okay, I'm such a mess, I'm a failure. No, yeah, it's just like you have to move on. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think this actually sums up what we feel proud of at this state in our lives. Like,
yeah,
it could be something recent, it could be something that is like a long time ago, but it's as long as it's something that we feel like we've done to a capacity that, like, oh, we've done our best, or is something that we wanted to achieve, then it's something that should, like, you know, we
hmm,
should take pride in. So I think we have to pay more attention to like things like that, like the more positive side of stuff, like, you know, things we want to
yeah,
achieve, even if it's like a really small thing. Like it could be, you know, like just getting out of bed, you know, for
mm,
some people, because like, you know, everyone's going through something different. Like
yeah,
you could be like suffering different diseases or things like that, and, you know, just getting out of bed is a massive achievement for you, and you should, you know, applaud yourself for that. It's
yeah.
just, you know, achievement or things that we're proud of is different for everyone. So, you know, you should not compare yourself to other people's achievements. As long as it's
Hmm.
something you wanted to do, you've achieved it, or it's something that you want to do and you've done it, then
Mm,
you should be
yeah.
proud of yourself. And that thing, no matter how little or mundane it is, you should be proud
Yeah.
of that.
And especially like 2022 is coming to an end. I just feel like we always have to remember the good things that we have achieved, like things we are proud of. Don't even think about the sad things, and just keep that energy and bring it to next year. And yeah, just keep on doing great things in life. And even if you fail, it's not a mess, it's not a failure.
Yeah,
Just
it's part
keep
of the
on moving. Yeah,
process.
it's part of the process. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So I guess we have summed up like things we're proud of. We have so many things that we're proud of, but the topics that we're talking about today are like, yes, these are really, things we really proud
Yeah,
of.
it's personal
Yeah,
to us. Yeah.
very
So we
personal
would
to
also like
us.
to hear what you're proud of, like
Yes,
anything at all. Like we would love to listen to your experience, what you've done, what you consider like something that you take pride in. We will want to listen to all of that. So do tell us in the
yes.
comment section below, or if you want
DMS.
to
Yeah,
tell us, via direct message, that's also good.
yeah. So this is the end of our podcast
Today's
for this
episode.
week. Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you next
So
week.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.